तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Acharya Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, titled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. Text 4. Tadva idam bhuvana-maṅgala maṅgalāya dhyāne smano darśitam tad upāsakānām tasmai namo bhagavate anuvidhema tubhyam yo nādṛto naraka-bhāgbhir asat-prasaṅgaiḥ tadva idam bhuvana-maṅgala maṅgalāya dhyāne smano darśitam ta upāsakānām tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidhema tubhyam yo nādṛto naraka-bhāgbhir asat-prasaṅgaiḥ tadva idam bhuvana-maṅgala maṅgalāya dhyāne smano darśitam ta upāsakānām tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidhema tubhyam yo nādṛto naraka-bhāgbhir asat-prasaṅgaiḥ Vaishnavis. Tat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Va, or idam, this present form, bhuvana-maṅgala, O you who are all auspicious for all the universes, maṅgalāya, for the sake of all prosperity, dhyāne, in meditation, sma, as it were, na, unto us, darśitam, manifested, te, your, upāsakānām, of the devotees, tasmai, unto him, namaḥ, my respectful obeisances, bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead, anuvidhema, I perform, tubhyam, unto you, ya, which, nādṛto, is neglected, naraka-bhāgbhir, by persons destined for hell, asat-prasaṅgaiḥ, by material topics. Translation, please repeat. This present form or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Śrī Kṛṣṇa is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics. Purport. Regarding the personal and impersonal features of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personal forms exhibited by the Lord in his different plenary expansions are all for the benediction of all the universes. The personal form of the Lord is also worshipped in meditation as Super Soul, Paramatma. But the impersonal Brahma Jyoti is not worshipped. Persons who are addicted to the impersonal feature of the Lord, whether in meditation or otherwise, are all pilgrims to hell, because as stated in Bhagavad Gita 12:5, impersonalists simply waste their time in mundane mental speculation because they are addicted more to false arguments than to reality. Therefore, the association of impersonalists is condemned herewith by Brahma. All the plenary expansions of the personality of Godhead are equally potent, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5:46. Deepachir evahi dashantaram abhyapetya deepayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yasta evahi cha vishnutaya vibhati govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Thank you. The Lord expands himself as the flames of a fire expand one after another. Although the original flame, or Śrī Kṛṣṇa, is accepted as Govinda, the Supreme Person, all other expansions such as Rama, Narasimha and Varaha are as potent as the original Lord. All such expanded forms are transcendental. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is made clear that the Supreme Truth is eternally uncontaminated by material touch. There is no jugglery of words and activities in the transcendental kingdom of the Lord. All the Lord's forms are transcendental, and such manifestations are ever identical. The particular form of the Lord exhibited to a devotee is not mundane, even though the devotee may retain material desire, nor is it manifest under the influence of material energy, as is foolishly considered by the impersonalists. Impersonalists who consider the transcendental forms of the Lord to be products of the material world are surely destined to hell. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataro Bhescha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So just in the end of the previous chapter, after 100 years of meditation, Lord Brahma gets the darshan of the Paramatma form of the Lord in his heart first, and when he opens his eyes, he sees Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And there is a beautiful description of the form of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, how he is lying down on the white Ananta Sesha bed, how his body is unlimited, and how his beautiful body is decorated with garlands and ornaments and tulasi. And after seeing that form, Lord Brahma offers prayers. So this chapter is Brahma offering those prayers. And I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the classes I heard from His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj in understanding these topics better. So this verse talks about this present form. So the present form that Lord Brahma is talking about is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and who is lying down on Lord Ananta Sesha. This present form, or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So transcendental form. So the Lord in his absolute form is known as Bhagavan, and also in Paramatma form, when he is in our heart, he has a transcendental form. So Lord Brahma is addressing those aspects of the Lord as Bhagavan and Paramatma, which are transcendental forms of the Lord. Of course, when we talk about Brahma Jyoti, then we don't talk about form. So Lord Brahma is particularly addressing the forms of the Lord. And how are these forms? It is explained using the verse from Brahma Samhita, which is Lord Brahma's prayer also. Right after taking darshan of the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Lord Brahma created his prayers, which are called as Brahma Samhita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acknowledges them as bona fide form of prayers that devotee can offer. And we offer Brahma Samhita prayers frequently whenever we are worshipping Lord. Now when we are doing Abhishek and like that, we offer these prayers to the Lord, which is a beautiful meditation. And these prayers establish the position of Lord Krishna. Because every paragraph, every stanza of the poem ends with Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Lord Brahma establishes Lord Krishna, Govinda, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, from that prayer itself, Srila Prabhupada in the purport explains the nature of these transcendental forms of the Lord. Krishna is like the original lamp, the original flame. And then when you have one lamp and you use that lamp to lit many lamps, we have experience doing it for Diwali. We just take one lamp and then we put the other lamps on the stairs or balcony and we go around and use that one lamp to lit all others. So Krishna is the original flame, or the Deepa, original fire, and all his expansions like Lord Rama, Narasimha and Varaha, they are all like the flames that came from the original flame. And they are as potent as the original Lord. So they are in power equal to the Supreme Lord. So, and Bhagavan, the term Bhagavan also, even though it is not mentioned in the prayers of Lord Brahma, Srila Prabhupada makes it very clear that Lord Brahma is talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. When they say Bhagavate, Prabhupada gives the proper full explanation that Bhagavate is not Brahma just glorifying Garbhotaka Sai Vishnu. Bhagavate is Lord Brahma glorifying Lord Krishna. And he says this original form of Lord Krishna and all his transcendental expansions, all of the other lamps, they are all coming into this material world for one purpose. And that one purpose is to give auspiciousness for all the universes. Lord Brahma says is equally auspicious for all the universes. So, the definition of auspiciousness is, in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, that which is for the welfare of all the people of world. That is truly auspicious. There is, if we want to consider an activity as really auspicious, we need to see what is the impact of that activity on all the people. Sometimes we have missionaries like Christian missionaries, in Kolkata, Mother Teresa. So they have a bunch of orphan kids, old age people, and what they do, they kill the animals and they make soup kitchen. They feed, and apparently they are serving. They are bringing welfare to those people. But if you see, if that activity is actually auspicious for everyone, it is not. Because the person who is contemplating on killing, the person who killed, the person who brought it to the table, the person who cooked, the person who served, the person who ate, all of them are going to hell. So then it is not truly a welfare activity. So Lord Brahma says here that the eternal forms of Lord Krishna and his various expansions, they are equally auspicious to all universes, because they are actually, what is ultimately auspicious activity one can do, the ultimate auspiciousness one can create is taking everybody back to Godhead. So that is the definition as per Nectar of Devotion. So that is the purpose of the Lord appearing here, that he attracts the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead. That is why he is called as bhuvana-maṅgala. those who are, these forms are all auspicious for all university, and they bring all prosperity. So the true auspiciousness comes when one is meditating on the auspicious form of Lord Krishna and his expansion. And then the next point Lord Brahma makes here is since you have manifested in this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate. So eternal personal form upon whom the devotees meditate. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, this is the uniqueness of Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma is talking about devotees meditating on eternal personal form of the Lord. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, even though the devotee may retain material desire, so Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. But anybody who comes into this material world, they've had at least a tinge of desire to enjoy separately from the Lord. So one should not mistakenly think that a devotee who has meditated upon the Lord with some material desire, Dhruva Maharaj, he also meditated on the Lord, and he had loads of material desire. He wanted a kingdom greater than his grandfather, Lord Brahma. And when Narada was coming to instruct him, he said, if you know how I can become the king of a kingdom greater than my great grandfather, let's talk. Otherwise, please, please take leave. I'm not interested in philosophy. I have an aim. I am coming here to achieve something material. And there was lot of passion, there was lot of resentment, lot of anger. And by the guidance of Lord Narada, he was worshipping the beautiful form of Lord Krishna on banks of river Yamuna. He was offering flowers, fruits, meditating on the beautiful form of the Lord that he had installed, and he was worshipping. And when Lord manifested himself first in the heart and then in person, one should not think that this form is manifest under the influence of material energy. That is not how the forms of the Lord come. Because the devotee had some material desire, does not mean that the form that the devotee obtains by his prayers is material. The form that the Lord exhibited to that devotee is transcendental. And how do we know it is transcendental? Because we know the result of that darshan. Dhruva Maharaj was lamenting, why did I ask for glass pieces when I had the opportunity of having diamonds? That is the impact of darshan of Lord, that you will want to become his devotees. You will be very lamentful of your material desires. And that is how we can prove that the forms manifested by the Lord for the meditation of devotees, even if the devotees are meditating on the Lord with some material desires, we should know that these forms are not material. So that is where the understanding of Vaishnavas is different from the understanding of impersonalists. The impersonalists think that when the Lord comes to the material world, then he will be made of material things. And when he disappears, then his material form disappears and he regains his spirituality. And that is a very wrong understanding. It is this understanding that Lord Brahma explains as speculating on material topics. In the translation, they say, those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form. The impersonalists will not accept the beautiful form of the deities, they will not accept the form of Krishna, they will not, they will come to temple, they will meditate, but they will be having a speculative understanding, some very wrong understanding that this form of beautiful Radha Madhava, garland of Tulasi ankle bells, all this beautiful form is material. It's marble, black marble, how can you say that? How can you say that? It is very sinful to think that. And that is why they are dispatched to the path of hell. And in Ishopanishad, in verse number 9, there is a explanation of who goes where, vidya and avidya, and how some kind of avidya, what is the destination of different people who are cultivating different kinds of knowledge. So people who are cultivating knowledge for material well-being, you become a philosopher, a professor, scientist, whatever, a philanthropist, something, but all material designation. And Ishopanishad says that the culture of nations, it leads you to the darkest region of ignorance. And the darkest region of ignorance is hell. And then it says, culture of so-called knowledge. And here the Upanishad is referring to the impersonalists, because they are not actually cultivating real knowledge. They are cultivating so-called knowledge. Why is it called as so-called knowledge? Because it's not based on scriptures. It's based on their mental speculation. So what is their destination? It is worse than the darkest regions of hell. So you think of the darkest region of hell, which is like the lowest region of hell. And if you can imagine something worse than that, that is what is reserved for impersonalists. Why? Because they are doing this great offense of thinking that the wonderful form of the Lord, that He manifests for the purpose of His devotees, so that they can meditate on Him, so that they can take shelter of, towards His lotus feet. That wonderful form is material, or it is temporary. Lord Brahma says it's eternal. You have manifested this eternal personal form. It is transcendental, it is eternal, it is personal. Even if we think of Paramatma, many times devotees have this understanding. Paramatma is for the conditioned souls, the Lord is there in the heart as Paramatma. But once the conditioned soul leaves the material world and goes to the spiritual world, he goes out of this material conditioning, he goes back to Vaikuntha, Goloka, then Paramatma doesn't exist there. He is not there in the heart anymore. So many times people may think that, oh, maybe this Paramatma form is temporary or material or not eternal. So Lord Srila Prabhupada clarifies in the purport that the personal form of the Lord is also worshipped in meditation as super soul or Paramatma. So when Lord Brahma says the personal form upon which your devotees meditate, that includes Paramatma also, because Paramatma is an expansion of Kshirotika Sai Vishnu, and Kshirotika Sai Vishnu is in the spiritual world. There is he is lying down in the ocean of milk, on the bed of Anantasesh. So he is not a temporary form. He comes, he becomes manifested in the heart of devotees, of conditioned souls who are in material world, and he becomes unmanifested when they go back to the spiritual world. So none of these forms are to be considered material. None of these forms are to be considered temporary, and none of these forms are to be considered not transcendental. They are all 100% spiritual. even if they are not directly Krishna, but expansion of expansion of expansion of expansion of Krishna, still they are all this, they have the same potency as the original fire from whom they are. I have one lamp and then I lit another lamp, and I use that lamp to lit another lamp, and I use that lamp to lit another lamp, but none of those fires are less potent. It's not that because this is coming in the fourth line or something, if I touch this fire, it will not burn. It will burn as potent as the original fire. So they are all equally transcendental. They are not something mundane, because they are coming down in the plenary expansion. And another interesting thing that we can note in the prayer is the word bhagavate. Lord Brahma uses the word bhagavan. Bhagavate means unto the personality of Godhead. And we know the word Bhagavan. Bhagavan, often Srila Prabhupada gives this explanation. Bhagavan means Bhagavan. Bhaga means the 6 opulences. Beauty, strength, fame, knowledge, wealth, and renunciation. These are the opulences, and Van means one who possesses these opulences. So Bhagavan in this prayer definitely refers to that Lord who is the possessor of all these opulences. But in Jiva Goswami in Sandarbha, he is giving another definition of Bhagavan when we talk in the context of the form whom your devotees meditate. So Bhagavan is one with 6 opulence, but Bhagavan is also somebody who should be defined in terms of his relation to devotees. So there he gives another definition. Bha means the one who is protector, the one who is sustainer of Prahlad Maharaj. He came from a pillar of all places, and as a lion and human mixed together, a species that cannot be defined by science at all. So he will go to any extent to protect his devotees. That is the syllable bha means that. And ga is gamayat, the one who leads the path to Vaikunta. So he comes and he protects the devotees, and then he takes them to the spiritual world. And that is also a definition included in the word Bhagavan. And Van, and in Van it has the word Vasi, means the one in whose heart his devotees always reside. In the heart of the Lord, the devotees always reside. And in the heart of the devotee, the Lord always resides. They both reside on each other's heart. So when we talk about the definition of Bhagavan in the context of devotees, then we get the highest definition of the Lord. Not just somebody who possesses opulences, somebody who is a neutral witness, somebody who is the controller, bhoktaram, yagya tapasyam, sarvalokam, makeshwaram, functions. These are all functions. So there is a definition of the Lord in terms of his functions, in terms of his opulence, but the ultimate definition of the Lord comes when we define him in terms of his relationship with devotees. The one who can do anything to protect his devotees, the one who leads them back to his kingdom, and the one who always holds his devotees in his heart, and the one who resides in the heart of his devotees always. So Lord Brahma is exclusively offering prayer to Bhagavan in terms of relation to devotee. So that is what is the definition of Bhagavan here. We are not looking at the definition of Bhagavan as master of universes, or ultimately powerful controller of all energies, material and spiritual, one who is the enjoyer of all sacrificial results. We are not looking at just the minuscule definition, but the ultimate definition, that the Lord, when he is dealing with devotees, has a totally different role to play. So to summarize, we are looking at the prayers of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma offers prayers begging for creative energy, begging power from Lord Krishna, so he can create the material world, because he understood the purpose. After 100 years of meditation, he understood what is his job now. So if you have given me this blessing that I should do this job, please empower me. Any blessing comes with empowerment. So these prayers are begging for empowerment. Please allow me to fulfill whatever reason you have brought me to this material world for. So the prayers start with meditation on the beautiful form of the Lord, and the beautiful form of the Lord that we are looking at in this context, even though it's Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Srila Prabhupada explains that when Lord Brahma uses the word Bhagavan, he is actually referring to Lord Krishna. And we saw some of the qualities of this beautiful form of the Lord. That this form of the Lord is transcendental. That means it doesn't belong to the material world. And this form of the Lord is personal, means has a specific shape, not just some kind of light. The form of the Lord is transcendental, personal, and it is meant for all auspiciousness of the world. This form of the Lord is coming to this world to create good for everyone in the absolute sense, means to guide everyone back to Godhead. And this form of the Lord is meditated upon by his devotees. And when devotees meditate on the Lord is not just Bhagavan as somebody who has 6 opulences, but the Lord is Bhagavan, the one who can do anything to protect his devotees, the one who will lead them to the spiritual world, and in whose heart the devotees always reside, and in whose heart he always resides. And then Lord Brahma offers his obeisance to such a Lord. And he says that those who are destined to be dispatched in the path of hell, means those who do not accept this form of the Lord, those who think that the beautiful form manifested here is mundane or material or temporary or any kind of speculative understanding, they are supposed to go to hell. Lord Brahma says that, they are meant to go to hell. And Srila Prabhupada says that the people who are explained in this context are actually the impersonalists, people who deny the existence of God. The people who they don't deny the existence of God, they accept there is some form of God, there is something spiritual, but they deny that he has a spiritual form. And that comes because they think spirituality is opposite of material life. So in material world you have form, the opposite should be true for spiritual world. You should not have form. And that is a very high form of speculation. And that will lead one not just to the darkest region of nations, but whatever is worse than that. So in Ishopanishad, the warning is given. They don't just go to hell. They go to something worse than the darkest hell. So that summarizes it. If there are any questions or comments, thank you. Hare Krishna. Is there any difference between impersonalism and materialism? Impersonalists are people who want to give up material life and attain spirituality, so-called spirituality. Materialists are people who want to enjoy material world. So materialist people means they try to make things better in the material world. Let me get better medical facility, better clothes, better food, better education, do something for being more beautiful, do something to become more rich, So those are all people who want to exploit the material world. So they are materialists. And impersonalists, they have this understanding that material world is temporary, which is right, which is true. And the material energy is opposite of spiritual energy. That is also true. But what is the fault in their understanding? They think that because they are opposite, if there is form in material world, there should be no form in spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada says that when there is a green tree and there is a green parrot that goes into the green tree, the parrot does not become green leaf. The parrot retains its form as the green parrot, and it has the wife parrot, baby parrot, and whole joint family is going on. They all live happily there and they all do their activities there. So that concept that when you enter into the spiritual world, you become like you enter, a parrot goes into the green tree, does not become a green tree. The parrot retains its original form. You can understand that using that idea, you can understand that when somebody gives up the material world and goes to spiritual world, he will not have a material body, but he will have a spiritual form. And there is the variegatedness. Material world has so much of variety. There is so much for your eyes to see, your tongue to taste, your ears to hear, your skin to feel. Then they negate the variegatedness. If there is variety in material world, spiritual world should be variety-less. Means only light, everywhere only Brahman, and that is also wrong understanding. Spiritual world, if one simple material world has so much variety, spiritual world, which is on the absolute platform, should have infinite more possibility of varieties. That is the correct understanding. So in like this, because of their speculative material understanding, they continuously negate the existence of the beautiful form of the Lord. So they are called impersonalists because they do not accept the personal form of Lord or the variety of the dealings and pastimes he has, and that is very offensive. So that's basically the difference between materialist and impersonalist. Is that okay, bro? Material people can also become devotees. They just don't know. No? Go on Harinam, you give book, give prasadam, invite them to temple, they chant Hare Krishna, started. No? It's not that the natural, the Jivera Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. There is nobody who cannot become a devotee. Everybody has that power in them. Everybody's love for Krishna is dormant. So materialists can also become devotees. Impersonalists can also become devotees. Like the four Kumaras, when they went to Vaikunta, they just smelled the wind that was carrying the aroma of tulasi, and they became devotees. But materialist is easy to make devotee because they already have some form of God they worship to get some material benefit. They already accept variety and all that, so probably easy. That is why Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita 12.5. In 12.5, Krishna says, it is difficult for the path of the impersonalists who are trying to attain transcendental perfection is very troublesome because of the misconceptions. It is so difficult for them. They greet each other as Narayana. They believe themselves, hello Narayana, how are you Narayana? So they all think themselves as God who are entrapped in material body. So for them to give up that idea and become servant of the Lord is going to be troublesome. So that is little bit more difficult. If you are truly, sincerely a hardcore impersonalist, it will be more difficult to make them into devotees. Materialists, yes, they can, prasadam, harinam, Krishna katha, easily you can bring them. Is that okay? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.